In this video, I'll show you the step-by-step process for conducting a pipeline coverage review in Salesforce, and I'll explain how to do this using the GSP Target Tracker app. Let's get started. First, what do we mean by good pipeline coverage? Good pipeline coverage means your pipeline contains enough deals of the right quality to hit your target. And by pipeline, I'm primarily talking about the weighted pipeline, which is the value of the deal multiplied by the opportunity probability. We use the weighted pipeline rather than the full pipeline value because you know you're not going to win every deal in the funnel, so factoring in the probability gives us a much more realistic estimate of the expected outcome. I've got a separate video about weighted pipeline and using opportunity probability, so take a look at that if you're interested in that topic. There's a link in the description. For now, let's talk about the 3 steps necessary for an effective pipeline coverage review. Step 1, validate the size and quality of the pipeline. This step is so important because there's no point having great pipeline coverage if the deals are of poor quality or unlikely to close anytime soon. Second step, identify areas at risk by comparing the validated pipeline with current and upcoming targets. And third, plan specific actions that address the shortfall areas so that we maximize the likelihood of achieving quota. With that being said, here's how you conduct those 3 steps in Salesforce using the GSP Target Tracker. Specifically, I'm using the Sales Manager dashboard, which is a component within the GSP Target Tracker app. Let's go through the very first step, which is to validate the quality of the existing pipeline. Take a look at this table. The table shows deals closing this month and next month, ranked by opportunity size. For each deal, we can see the owner, the type of opportunity, the stage, and the amount. And then we have some pipeline quality metrics generated by the Target Tracker app. We can see the number of times the close date has moved from one month to another, the days since the last stage change, the total days open, and the projected close date. The highlighting helps draw our attention to specific areas. For example, look at this opportunity due to close this month. It's for a new customer, and the close date has already slipped 3 times. It's been open for 200 days, and it's 95 days since the stage was last updated. In other words, it's been in the proposal made stage for over 3 months. Given that it's also our 3rd largest deal, we want to validate that it really is on track to close this month. Did we meet the exit criteria for the previous stage? Have all the stakeholders been identified and covered off? And is there a close plan agreed with the customer and documented? Because here's the thing. If that opportunity has little chance of closing anytime soon, but is in our short-term funnel, any metric that we look at about pipeline coverage for this month or next month is going to be inflated. In other words, this first step of validating the pipeline is crucial to getting pipeline coverage metrics that we can rely on. So use the dashboard to validate the existing pipeline and make sure the funnel doesn't contain deals that no longer have legs or which should not have a near-term close date. Now that we've validated the pipeline, let's move to the second step, which is to identify pipeline coverage shortfall and areas at risk. So, let's look at the next set of charts in the dashboard. They show pipeline coverage for the current month. For example, the first chart shows the total target for all salespeople this month, the value of deals already won in the month, the weighted pipeline of open opportunities due to close this month, and the variance, which is positive in this case. So the overall pipeline coverage for this month is positive, but what else do we know? The next chart shows the total pipeline by owner. We can see that one person owns almost half the total funnel due to close this month. Is that a good thing? Well, it might depend on who it is. Either way, it certainly identifies the first person we need to talk to and a potential area of risk. And look at the third chart. Remember, this row focuses on deals closing this month. To be confident in our overall pipeline coverage, we'd expect the pipeline to be heavily biased towards the latter stages of the sales process. In this case, I'd certainly want to drill down on those deals in qualification and discovery to further validate that we're not overstating our pipeline coverage. So again, another area of potential risk. This chart shows the pipeline coverage for this month by salesperson. Although the team has sufficient pipeline coverage, we see that 2 salespeople are on track to hit their target and 2 are forecast to be below quota. So now we have much more specific information on the shortfall areas for this month. We can drill down to the details for any of the salespeople to identify the major deals and check on the essential opportunities we need to close. And the question we need to ask each of the salespeople with a shortfall is it realistic to get more pipeline for this month? Might be difficult. Or should we focus on closing the deals we already have and building pipeline coverage for future months? And that means we're already well underway with our third step, planning specific actions to maximize our chances of achieving quota. And as you can see, using the dashboard means these actions can be highly focused rather than broad brush. So that's the current month. What about next month? This section of the dashboard delivers the same information, but for next month. There's nothing in the closed won column because we haven't got to next month yet. But you can see we have just enough weighted pipeline to achieve the target. We want to go through the same process of reviewing the pipeline by owner and stage to identify risks and review the pipeline coverage by person. You can see some people have adequate pipeline coverage whilst others are falling short. However, having this information means you can initiate specific actions to address shortfalls and areas at risk. We can adopt the same process by reviewing the pipeline coverage for this quarter. You get the idea. By reviewing the pipeline coverage for this month, next month, and the quarter, we can be much more precise in our understanding of the pipeline coverage and areas of risk, and much more specific in the action we need to take to address shortfall and risk. But let me show you some other charts on the dashboard that also help with your pipeline coverage review. The pipeline by stage and close date is one of my favorites. So much so that I've written a specific blog post on it, which I've linked in the description below. I like this chart so much because it allows you to apply common sense to assessing the pipeline. For example, let's say the current month is August. That means the majority of deals in August should be at an advanced stage in the sales process. So why do we have some in qualification and some in discovery? We'll want to drill into these and validate that they really are due to close this month. It's the same with the other months. We can cast our eye over the months looking for anomalies. For example, what are these deals in negotiation 3 months out? Is it really going to take us 3 months to close these deals, or can we bring them forward? Either way, this straightforward chart is highly valuable, so take a look at the videos and material on that. The dashboard has a similar chart below, this time showing the pipeline by owner. Again, we're looking for things that stand out. For example, in October, we can see that one person owns 3/4 of the pipeline. We likely want to understand why that is, and we can see that in this case, for example, this salesperson has one huge deal dominating the pipeline. This obviously needs to be a critical focus for the sales leadership team. We can also see the sales performance and pipeline coverage for the full year, and overall, we're on track to beat our company level number. You can see how the team's sales performance fared month on month and the pipeline coverage for the current and upcoming months. At the start of this video, I said there's a 3-step process to conducting a pipeline coverage review, which is to validate the size and quality of the pipeline, identify shortfalls and areas at risk, and take action. The Sales Manager dashboard, part of the GSP Target Tracker app, gives you the tools you need to fulfill those steps in Salesforce and master pipeline coverage in your business. I'd love to hear what you think about this video, so leave a comment and I'll reply personally, or hit subscribe if you want more videos on getting Salesforce to do what you want. See you in the next video.